Hi. So I thought I'd show you guys a couple of things. First of all, I've got this SSM monitor. So it's basically Sony PVM, for those of you who know what that is. It's a premium CRT monitor from 20 plus years ago, I guess, used in broadcasting and video production, that sort of thing. So I got a handful of these. I got 6 of them actually, and the SSM monitors, they're more for surveillance, so they don't really have the feature set that the higher end PVMs do. And when I talk about PVMs, I'm talking about specifically the N series PVMs, for those that know what that is. So they released a whole bunch of, Sony released a whole bunch of monitors based on the same chassis, which is the S2A chassis. And these SSM monitors are kind of the entry-level monitors, as mentioned, used mostly for surveillance and CCTV sort of applications. So because of that, they don't have RGB, and you've probably noticed that mine does say RGB in the top right corner there, and that's because despite it being an entry-level monitor, they actually do have the capability to output RGB with relatively trivial modifications. So the modifications, you do have to do a few things on the main motherboard down the bottom there, and you have to change a few things on the little the smaller board at the back, which is the Q board. But the main motherboard is the bottom one there, which is the A board. So you need to make changes to both of those, adding components that Sony sort of purposely left out for the lower end models. So to do that modification's pretty easy if you've got soldering iron and some common sense. It's not too difficult. So I can actually, if you check the description, I've got a link to how to do that. So yeah, that's the monitor, and I've modified this one actually, and I've got a bunch of other ones that I've modified too. So all the motherboards and stuff are out here. You can see there I've got the wires running on the Q board there. Same deal with this one. I've got another one that's with a friend at the moment. But yeah, that's one that's just testing out at the moment, and I've got it hooked up to this Sony Scan Converter, but I'll come back to that in a second. I just wanted to quickly show you guys these cases. So the cases are for the SSM monitor, and obviously they were not this color originally, but I've had a friend help me spray paint them. I think it did a pretty good job. It's not sort of your backyard spray can job, if it's not like that. So it's more of a I think it's 2-pack paints. It's used for cars and trucks and stuff, so it's hard wearing and it should last a while. But I thought normally I wouldn't paint a case. I wouldn't try to do that, but given the state of the monitors that I received, they'd been sitting in a shed for quite some time, and they were rusty and stuff like that. So I thought, well, may as well just paint them and make them look better, which I think they do. So yeah, coming back to this little thing, if you've seen my previous video, you would know that the previous video on this RGB mate scan converter, well, this is more of a premium sort of option. So the RGB mate, from what I can tell, it's pretty cheap, and if you've seen my video, I open it up inside and have a look at the internals, and I mean, it's more or less empty, and it's a similar size to the Sony. So definitely cheaper, and I've opened the Sony as well. I won't open it now, but inside the Sony, I mean, it's chock-a-block. It's full of, it's just a giant PCB in there, and it's definitely typical Sony over engineering, I think you could almost say, but it's definitely high quality. So, and obviously it would have been expensive, being Sony as well. So it has similar features to the RGB mate, but obviously it's got way more controls, and I actually had more luck with this one. It seems to be able to produce, it seems to be able to spit out an RGB signal that my little SCART TV inside is happy with, which is good. And I've got it actually hooked up here to this PVM, and behind the PVM I've got a little computer there, and that's that's what is connected to this to the Sony, and then it's the computer's connected to the Sony via a VGA cable, and then there's another VGA, this one here, so that's from the PC VGA in, and you can toggle the sync back there as well, and then this RGB this VGA cable goes off to a SCART connector. I think that's an ultimate ultimate SCART adapter, something like that. So that VGA cable there goes to this SCART, and then that SCART has a breakout BNC cables which connect to the back of the PVM. So those connections there, the BNC connections, are all new. They're all added as part of the modification to make this little monitor support RGB. Yeah, so as I was saying, it's gone into screensaver, but if I just move the mouse in the background here without touching the CRT guts, you can see it comes back to life there. So, yeah, this thing here, it's definitely, as I was saying, it's got way more features. It tells you, can I focus? It tells you the output format. I'm not sure if you can read that, but it's 48K, so it picks up that there's a 48K signal coming in from the PC, and I've got it spitting out a PAL signal. You can change the output format and other various settings, screen centering options and stuff like that. You can bring up a little menu to play around with various features. I haven't really spent a whole lot of time with it, to be honest, but from what I can tell straight off the bat, it's definitely better than the RGB Mate. One thing that's cool is like the RGB Mate, it's got test patterns, but the test patterns, there's more of them, right? So with the RGB Mate, there's just one. With Sony, if I just click this one, see I've got a nice grid pattern there. Click it again. I don't really know what that is. I guess you're supposed to center the big black square, and press it again. We've got the classic color bars. And again, we get the grayscale, and once more goes back to the output source. So yeah, that's a quick little overview. You can change your input selects there. And you can choose between 3 different input selects on the back of the unit: S-Video, Composite, and VGA. Obviously, it's got connectors on the back there for all of those types. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about the unit, I'm happy to answer. I basically use this inside normally. I'm out in the shed at the moment, obviously, but I use it inside, hooked up to my main PC, and that connects to my to the little Sony Trinitron monitor with SCART. And yeah, as I was saying earlier, that monitor is, CRT, it's a television, not a monitor. It's more fussy about the signal that it gets, being an old 1980s SCART TV, versus this, these PVMs, they're happy with PAL or NTSC signals. So the RGB Mate, it wasn't happy with that one, no matter what sort of cable configuration I gave it, but the Sony, yep, it works great. The only downside is that it's got a little exhaust, a little cooling fan there. It's a little 40mm thing, and it's quite loud. You probably can't hear it, but it's loud enough to sort of piss me off a little bit. But excuse me, but other than that, it's been great. I love it. So I can sort of this connects to my little TV, and that's my third monitor, so to speak. I can watch cartoons and play retro games and stuff, although it is only 480, it's not 240p. This thing only outputs the typical PAL signals, whatever that is, in resolution 576 or something like that. So yeah, it's not 240p, so you can't really hook it up and play old classic NES games in their original resolutions. It's more for, I don't know, just like a third screen, watching cartoons and that sort of stuff, or any 4:3 ratio media it's good for. So yeah, thought that might be interesting to some of you guys. Like I said, this monitor here has been modified. I'm still sort of going through the process. You can see you have to switch the inputs by poking a stick through these holes at the moment to switch between line A and RGB, but eventually that'll all be cleaned up and they'll be put in these cases, and I'll sell them on eBay, and hopefully someone gets years of enjoyment out of them, because I've got so many friggin' TVs that it's not really, they're just gonna sit around here. So I thought I'll do them up a bit and sell them, and yeah, hopefully someone can find some fun with them. Anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers. See ya.